Hey, Foster here. 7 minutes or less series. Toxicology, overdoses. We see a lot of this in this area. I won't comment why, but if you want to talk to me in the side, I'll tell you why. ABCs. Then D is decontamination. E is elimination. And F is find the antidote. Kind of a little different thing, but reduce exposure, reduce absorption, reduce elimination, or increase elimination. Remember, most overdoses are polysubstance overdoses. It's usually not one product. Most of these people you can't believe, so we treat for everything. Always get aspirin, Tylenol, alcohol levels, serum, urine, drug screens, IV, oxygen, fluids, same ABCs as you always do. Don't protocol, we were taught years ago, dextrose, oxygen, Narcan, and thiamine, which we don't do a lot. There's also a romazicon. That's a different study, but remember, hypoglycemia can be in salicylates, Tylenol, insulin, alcohol. Yeah, I think everyone's good here getting ABGs, establishing a line, putting them on the monitor. I think you're great at ABCs here. Gastric decontamination. There's many studies. I can go off on it. For IHC's policy, we're only going to do it for 1 hour, 1 hour or less. It's kind of backed by literature this way. I totally 100% don't agree with it. I definitely like gastric decontamination, but I worked in some crappy places. I also worked in Africa, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, all through South America, where we don't have ICUs, someplace not electricity. So all we had was gastric lavage, and it works. I can show you videos of just pill fragments. But I think our policy is after an hour, we're really not going to do it. These are done from prospective studies, of course, but most people that do prospective studies are also walking in the ER. I'm talking about the serious ones. If I overdose or a family member overdoses or take something by mistake, I got potassium, Coumadin, I want you to pump my stomach, man. I want you to call GI, put me out, and get all that crap out of there. But anyways, 1 hour or less, we can pump. After that, probably not worth it. Syrup, ipecate makes you vomit. We don't do this anymore. Gastric lavage, I'm a big fan, but contraindication, unprotected airway. You can get aspiration, esophageal tear, esophageal perforations. Remember, under an hour only now, based on literature. It's a mess. Charcoal is activated charcoal. It's 1 to 2 grams per kilogram. They come in 50 grams here. Ours comes with sorbitol. Usually the first dose is with sorbitol to help run it through. It's relatively safe. You can aspirate it. You can vomit. It's messy. We use that blue bag technique where you kind of put them in a blue bag because they're going to vomit. You can give them, a normal person, tell them they got 15 minutes to drink it. You can have a chase with a Diet Pepsi or something, Most people can just chug it like a beer and they do fine. Give them some Zofran. Meantime, you're on the monitor, your fluids, IVs. It binds great. I forget, it's, steam clean charcoal. It binds 100 times more than normal. But it doesn't bind everything. It doesn't really bind lithium, iron, alcohols, alkali. You obviously wouldn't give it if you have an obstruction. We give multiple dose charcoal on many different overdoses in the ICU. We'll give it every so many hours. If we can't bind it or pump it, then we can always do hemodialysis, whole bowel irrigation, iron products, lithium products. Sometimes we can give them go lightly to run it through with them. We've all seen this. Where I trained, we'd give them a gallon of this in an hour and they would be crapping and puking, and it worked, but they're miserable. But if you could give a halfway normal guy this over 4 hours, it'll probably run through them. I think for colonoscopies, we get over in about 6 hours. So we need to avoid acidification of the urine. So a lot of times we add a lot of bicarb or try to alkalize or the urine. Basically, it's 1-800-CALL, Linda Pharmacist. I guess you could ask Kyle or Andrew, but get the pharmacist involved, get poison control involved. There's a lot of antidotes we can use. Hemodialysis, we got great hemodialysis here. 1-800-CALL Carlos Mercado, but Mercado's group, Roy's group, they're very receptive. We can dialyze a lot of stuff. Aspirin, lithium, which you see a lot. We can dialyze this stuff off. So many different doses and antidotes. They're kind of fun to read about, especially Tylenol. We got a NAC. There's protocols for it. call poison control. They got these down. Calcium channel blockers, warfarin. You've seen FFP, vitamin K, and we get all kinds of neat stuff. You don't want you to memorize, but they're kind of fun to read about it. Opiates, Narcan. You guys carry Narcan. There's mud piles. It's kind of interesting. Increase, and on GAP, these are found in any little formula thing. You don't have to memorize them. Osmol GAP, tox screen. I think the key here is a positive or negative isn't always true. You can have a positive amphetamine or meth test, but it doesn't mean they're on meth. They could be on a bunch of other stuff. And same with false negatives. Like I said, pseudoephedrine will cause the amphetamine test to be positive. That doesn't mean they're taking meth. Just know just because it's positive doesn't mean it's always the bad thing. We can always get levels if we have to. It takes more time. Toxidromes, I want you to know anticholinergic. It's like the sympathomimetic ones like coke, meth. Dry flesh skin, that's the main difference. Dry flesh skin, where the sympathomimetics are coke, meth, usually sweaty. All these things, VTAC, Torsage, yada yada. Here's some nice palindromes. Antihistamines. So Benadryl, we see these. Remember, these are dry. Gyms and weed. Remember the difference between anticholinergic and sympathomimetics, which like your coke, meth. These are like your Benadryls. You get the dry skin, and the others you get the wet, sweaty skin. Causes, these. Opioid, pinpoint pupils, coma, respiratory depression, Narcan. Clonidine, we see that every now and then. Can mimic opioid or Narcan. There's nasal, there's IM. That's it.